TomoNews presents Secret Service Agents. Donald Trump's new ride is about to arrive in Washington. Final tests are being made on an update to Cadillac One, the president's official vehicle, better known as the Beast. The new Beast weighs in at 8 tons and has 8-inch thick steel doors that are sealed to block out chemical attacks. Just in case, though, the limo is also fitted with an oxygen system. Armor-piercing bullets and even a .44 Magnum are no match for the Beast's bulletproof windshield and 5-inch thick military-grade bodywork. The underside of the Beast is reinforced with a steel plate to protect against roadside bombs, and the fuel tank is armor-plated to make it explosive-proof. Shotguns are kept on board the vehicle, but the only window that can open is the driver's, and that's only by 3 inches. So maybe there's a few secrets we don't know. The Beast also has Kevlar tires that run even if they're flat, and the vehicle is fitted with a tear gas cannon to disperse potential angry crowds. The Beast cost about $1.5 million to build and is part of a fleet of 12 vehicles designed to protect the president. President Trump's new ride was supposed to be ready for his inauguration in January, but for some reason it wasn't. However, the Beast is now just waiting final approval and should be ready to be deployed later this month. Secret Service agent choke slams photographer. A Secret Service agent choke slammed a photographer at a Donald Trump rally on Monday. Footage from the event in Radford, Virginia shows the agent hurling Time magazine photog Christopher Morris to the ground. In the moments leading up to the UFC-style body slam, protesters shouting "Black Lives Matter" were escorted from the event. According to witnesses, an altercation began when Morris stepped inches outside the press pen to photograph demonstrators. When the agent told Morris to step back, the photographer dropped the F-bomb twice, and the agent lost his shit. After kicking at the agent, an angry Morris then grabbed his throat to demonstrate what had been done to him. After being detained, Morris expressed regret for his part in the incident. Meanwhile, Time contacted the Secret Service to say it was concerned about the agency's treatment of its photographer. Members of the press have reported outright hostility from Trump and his supporters while covering his election campaign. The Donald last week vowed to weaken libel laws if elected president, to make it easier to sue reporters who criticize him.
3 U.S. Secret Service agents sent home after wild night out. A trio of U.S. Secret Service agents were sent home from Amsterdam after one of them was reportedly found lying unconscious, sprawled along a hotel corridor after a heavy night of drinking and partying. The Washington Post reported that the trio belonged to the elite counter-assault team, which is responsible for protecting the president when he's attacked. They were sent to the Netherlands ahead of President Obama's scheduled visit on March 24th. After the agents reportedly drank like fish, one of them was found sleeping in a hotel hallway after having passed out by a staff member. Hotel management informed the U.S. Embassy of the drunken government employee's antics, who then, in turn, reported the incident to the agent's superior officers. The Secret Service confirmed that all 3 have since been benched for, quote, disciplinary reasons, but did not elaborate. The agents involved are now on administrative leave. The agency said the president's security was not compromised by the incident.
Secret Service agent was preoccupied while Gonzales intruded into the White House. A review from the Department of Homeland Security points out how mistakes made by Secret Service officers actually helped 42-year-old Omar Gonzalez intrude into the White House 2 months ago. Iraq war veteran Omar Gonzalez managed to break into the White House's North Portico on September 19th after a series of catastrophic security blunders. Gonzalez was first spotted by officers on Pennsylvania Avenue climbing over the fence at 7:19 p.m. As the Secret Service officer stationed on the North Lawn was talking on his cell phone without monitoring the radio, he failed to detect Gonzalez until well after the chase was underway. 2 officers approached Gonzales with guns drawn, but he lost them in the hedges in front of the North Portico. Another officer also followed but came up short. One officer took cover behind a pillar, pointing his gun at Gonzales, who was climbing the stairs to the north portico door, but didn't shoot as he thought the man was unarmed. Gonzales was later found carrying a knife. The door to the north portico was unlocked and the alarm was disarmed, letting Gonzales force himself in with no fanfare, even as one officer was trying to secure the area. That officer tried to subdue him, mistaking her flashlight for her baton. She finally pulled out her gun, however, Gonzales ignored her. He then passed the entrance hall and made it into the east room. Once he reached the doorway leading into the green room, he was tackled by another officer. Some 800 rounds of ammunition, a machete, and 2 hatchets were later found in Omar Gonzalez's car. The review also finds the Secret Service underestimated the potential threat of the intruder, as shown by the investigation of 2 prior incidents, including his arrest on gun charges in Virginia in July. In that case, a map of Washington, D.C. with a line drawn pointing to the White House was found. And 1 month later, he was stopped near the south fence of the White House with a hatchet in his waistband. But he was later released when authorities failed to find any other weapons in his car after the search.
Secret Service officer busted for sexting teen. A member of the elite protective service assigned to the president's residence was arrested by police in a sting operation after sending lewd texts to someone he thought was a 14-year-old girl. Back in August, a Delaware detective with the Child Predator Task Force was working undercover online as a 14-year-old girl when 37-year-old Lee Robert Moore began messaging. Using the name Rob on the app Meet24, he began to ask the girl what she liked to wear to bed before moving the chat to Kick, another app where he began sending her lewd images. Moore began sexting the girl while working at the White House, in one instance asking if she would be more nervous riding a motorcycle or riding him. Then, hoping for you-know-what, the creep texted, "I would take immense pleasure in pulling those shorts off your hips and down your cute little legs." He then sent a photo of his junk to the teen and attempted to convince her to send one of herself in her underwear, all while oblivious he was actually sexting a cop. Moore was arrested on Monday. He admitted to having a sexual interest in underage girls and confessed to sexting them. A married father of 2, Moore's White House pass was revoked and his security clearance terminated following the incident.
Another man jumps the White House fence and is taken down by Secret Service K-9 units. A second intruder in a month tried to enter the White House on Wednesday evening, but was quickly taken down by Secret Service Uniform Division K-9 units and arrested. A man entered the White House north lawn yesterday after scaling the lawn's iron fence, which measures roughly 7 feet and 6 inches tall. Video footage showed the intruder was a man wearing a dark, long-sleeved shirt and long white shorts. NBC News reported the man made it roughly 20 yards past the fence before he was attacked by K-9 units, which he punched and kicked. Secret Service officers soon surrounded the man to arrest him. Reuters reported that the White House was on lockdown for about 90 minutes after the incident. The incident comes only a few weeks after another intruder, 42-year-old Omar Gonzalez, made it all the way into the executive mansion while armed with a serrated knife. White House intruder made it farther inside the building than initially reported. The man who broke into the White House earlier this month reportedly made it through the front entrance and went as far as the East Room, which is normally used for press conferences and award presentations. The White House intruder, Omar Gonzalez, reportedly entered the entrance hall and went past the guard due to a muted alarm. He then went past the stairway, which leads to the first family's living quarters, and made it into the East Room. Gonzalez reached the doorway leading to the Green Room, where he was tackled by an agent. The Washington Post reported that the alarm boxes were muted because the White House usher's staff complained that they were noisy.
Bill Clinton has busty blonde mistress, according to a new book. In his new book, author Ronald Kessler claims former President Bill Clinton has a busty blonde mistress. Kessler writes that Secret Service agents refer to her by the unofficial codename of Energizer. The author says the Energizer visits the Clintons' home in Topeka whenever Hill Dog is out of town. According to Kessler, schedules are coordinated so that Energizer and Hill Dog's paths never cross. Oh, and he also says Energizer is nicer to Secret Service agents than Hill Dog is. Apparently, she even brings them cookies when she visits. Kessler also asserts that the agents say the Clintons' marriage is more like a business arrangement. Now that's a shocker. Now everyone knows about the former president's alleged infidelities. That's plural with an S in the past, but this might be a first peek into what could be a new Clinton scandal. And if all this is true, does it mean if Hill Dog gets elected, the Energizer will just keep going? Oh, yeah.
Secret Service agent robbed of badge and gun. The U.S. Secret Service is hanging its head in shame yet again today after a new scandal hit the beleaguered agency. The Secret Service, which has been plagued by cock-ups in recent years, confirmed on Tuesday that one of its agents had his badge and gun stolen from his car, which was parked not far from its headquarters in Washington. A police report said that when the agent returned to his car, he noticed a rear window was open and a black bag was missing. Among the items stolen in this fresh embarrassment for the agency were a handgun, radio, handcuffs, a flash drive, and the agent's badge. In 2012, several Secret Service agents were fired after they were accused of hiring prostitutes on a trip to Colombia. Back in the US, a man with a knife climbed the White House fence last year and got inside the building before he was subdued by agents. 2 drones have also landed on the White House lawn under the agency's watch, including an agent's drone, which crashed.
White House issues lockdown after spotting drone in no-fly zone. White House officials issued a lockdown Thursday after an unidentified man flew a remote-controlled drone near the north lawn of the White House. A small drone was spotted flying near the White House Thursday afternoon. It was hovering about 100 feet in the air above Lafayette Square. Officials detained a person who was controlling the drone with an iPad and landed it without incident. Several blocks north of the White House were blocked off until officials cleared the device. The drone is a Parrot Bebop, equipped with a small camera and capable of creating its own Wi-Fi hotspot to receive signals from an iPad. Secret Service spokesman Brian Leary said officials turned the unidentified man over to U.S. Park Police. The incident marks the 3rd time this year the White House has issued a lockdown for a device flying within the no-fly zone.
Secret Service Supervisor accused of sexual assault. Secret Service Supervisor Xavier Morales has been placed on indefinite administrative leave after a female employee accused him of assaulting her at the agency's headquarters. The woman claimed that the incident began at a party celebrating the promotion of Morales, the boss, to head the Louisville Secret Service field office. Morales said he loved her and wanted to have sex with her during a party at a Washington, D.C. restaurant on March 31st. Back at the office, Morales tried to kiss the woman and grabbed her arms when she tried to stop him. The woman alleged that Morales only relented after a brief struggle between the two. Morales' name has been added to an internal do not admit list, prohibiting him entry to the office. The Secret Service also took away his gun and badge after agency investigators began a preliminary review of the complaints. Morales has declined to comment on the incident, and Director Joseph B. Clancy said in the statement that, quote, "These allegations, as reported, are very disturbing."
Secret Service officer gunned down in Washington, D.C. A Secret Service officer formerly assigned to the White House was shot and killed on Tuesday in Washington, D.C. Secret Service officer Arthur Baldwin allegedly tried to break into his girlfriend's home before fleeing the scene in April. Police say 2 windows and the hinges to a door of the home were damaged. After police arrived, Baldwin returned to the home and asked to talk to his girlfriend. Police found his loaded service weapon in his car, and he was arrested at the scene. Baldwin was assigned to the White House. He had been on administrative leave since the arrest. Baldwin was shot multiple times in an attempted robbery in southwest Washington on Tuesday afternoon. He died later at a hospital. Police believe the shooting is not related to Baldwin's job or his alleged break-in in April. Drunk Secret Service agents crash into White House barricades. 2 senior Secret Service agents are being investigated after they allegedly crashed a government car into White House barricades after drinking at a party on March 4th. The 2 Secret Service agents were reportedly drinking at a bar to celebrate the retirement of a colleague before they ran a government car into the White House barricades. On their way back to the White House, the two agents tried to enter from an entrance that was closed off with security tape due to an investigation into a suspicious package. Witnesses said the agents switched on the overhead emergency lights and showed their badges to try to get through the closed section before they ran their car through the security tape and crashed into the barricade. The two agents have been identified as Mark Connolly, the second in command on Obama's security detail, and George Ogilvy, a senior supervisor in the Washington field office of the Secret Service.